Go?
Go.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. We are very bad in putting the title for the presentations, so we will try to explain you a little bit of our ideas, how to improve our automatically techniques for APT hunting. We also hate the kucha with all of our heart, so even if we are happy to be here, we didn't do any rehearsal. You can see the green spot. And basically, we are dividing the slides, at least for not doing everything on our own. We will very briefly explain a little bit what are our ideas and our plans.
Okay, basically, when you're doing some kind of research into APTs, some investigation, you have the typical snowball approach. Like, you get some stuff, you write the rules, you get more stuff, and more stuff, and more stuff, and your snowball basically is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So finally, it falls into, your data set, what you have collected is way too big, and you have the problem that you're looking for patterns and not anomalies. So this brings a lot of trouble into your work.
So you don't remember next, huh?
I do.
So basically, we wanted to get more visibility and find some ideas to complement the typical Jara approach. And also, we wanted to see what we can use for anomaly detection, because Jara does not always have that much visibility and does not allow you to do this more fuzzing approach for some features. So basically, we started playing with some metadata and see what kind of information we could get from there that we could use in this APT hunting. And it's good because usually metadata is having a lot of fields that this allow for many failures of OPSEC by the attackers, and this can create anomalies. For instance, there is a lot of redundant data. If you just get the JSON data for any artifacts from VirusTotal, you see code page is redundant, and you can just look for anomalies if they are not all of them in the same code page. This could be something suspicious. At the same time, you can find very obvious things that do not make any sense, like 5 days for editing 40 words in a document in Word. Probably is a little bit too much. So this kind of stuff you can use in order to find something is suspicious. So the idea was to create an experiment.
Yeah, small experiment, to go into that. We decided to take Turla White Atlas as a ground for this experiment in order to get some real data to work on this approach and see how it goes. So basically, we collected a lot of data and metadata, so documents and metadata for it, and finally found out 3 different clusters for these kind of documents. And you see here in red already some kind of interesting anomalies, like 65 words in nearly 1 hour written, so it's kind of strange. Interesting especially is the creation date and modification date, the difference, because it seems that they're using some kind of template and just reusing the same template multiple times. So always worth to have a look at this.
So basically, based on this data, we did this timeline, and we identified 3 different big waves of attacks during 2015. You can see in yellow 2 anomalies, which are the templates that they are based on. But after that, you can find different data that is common in all these 3 ways. For instance, in March, you can see these are the number of characters that they used. They always had the same author, and then this was last modified by a different username. Actually, these usernames were quite unique in our database. And then in November is the anomaly of the 4 days for the 50-something words. So you can use this data, for instance, to create some stupid Jara rule like this one, and get many, many more data than necessary. And after that, you can filter out. So it's going for a brute forcing approach, but actually works because once that you identify different interesting fields on the metadata, you can filter out what is interesting for you. So at the same time, now that we know that there are templates, it was interesting to see that the first seen in the wild for various total was like not for the same exact hash, but for the template that they were based on. As we know that the use this is like confirming the use of templates. Now, as we know that they use templates, we can use again the metadata to filter out the data that is not interesting. For instance, what is not created and last modified in the same day goes out. What is last, if you have the last print field fulfilled, this goes out. So this technique of cleaning metadata works.
Yeah, so the good old metadata. Interesting also when you have a look at some specific fields, like for example the code language and also submission names, which may give you an interesting clue about possible victims of kind of attack, what about the operation, what you're investigating. So basically conclusions from our perspective, it's quite an interesting approach to go more into metadata. Also interesting not only to find out more, but also to filtering out false positives. And interesting to get into this kind of anomaly and pattern matching. So we think it's quite worth to go and put metadata, more weight on it, and use it also as kind of an indicator. And I think that could be quite interesting for daily work.
Okay, so that's all. So we even don't need the last slide. It's for questions. You have like 5 seconds left. 4, 3,
2.
Thank you.